All right, so I wanted to give a little tour of this Triton that I'm pondering selling sometime this spring. And this is just going to be the interior tour because I think it's about 20 degrees outside, but I'm sweating a little bit in here. I got one space heater going down there, and then this little Mr. Buddy, which apparently is does not put out carbon monoxide rather, and really can warm the place up pretty good. So it's about 20 degrees outside. It's 62 now. I left the Mr. Buddy off for a little while. We were about 69, 70 earlier. I'm kind of sweating in here, but not complaining. So anyway, so this is I believe a 1962 Triton number 280, and it's had a lot of modifications done to it. So does not have the rear galley that most Tritons or all Tritons have stock. This has, I'll back up here, this front what do you call starboard side galley, and large work surface. So then you have only one extended bunk here, and yeah, so I'll just start going around explaining things. There's kind of some interesting systems here, I think, and I've just done a kind of ton of work making it usable. Currently up front is all storage, so I'll empty that out and then show you that later. But this is my bunk. There is a kind of a tube sheet that goes around this. This is a Ella Bean camping mattress that is pretty exquisitely comfortable for me, and the pillow. So that's the bunk, and then when you're hanging out, you can just put the pillow there because the bunk's a little wide, and then it's pretty comfortable to sit on. So I honestly don't really even know what a real Triton inside, a regular Triton is. I haven't been in one in quite a while, but this I know is modified, these seat backs. So they have storage here. I'll show you in a second. So this is where I keep all my tools. This is, I use all Ryobi stuff because it's cheap and it works great. Rechargeables. So there's some collapsible tool bags in there. There's a rigging kit, and I actually pretty much have every tool that I use to rebuild this boat is here. I used pretty cheap consumer stuff, and it all worked great. So so that's that. I think in the original Triton the seat backs are totally different, but I don't really know. So that is the seat back, and there's another door there, and so there's quite a bit of storage space for tools back there. You could put whatever you want, or you could put it for food, but I have quite a bit of tools. So the seat top now, so these seats are vertical backs, and then there's 3 compartments here that I made. This needs to be painted, obviously, but I never got around to it when I was doing it. But this one is kind of my book rack. Sort of everything's jammed in there now, but it works really good. Stuff does not really fall out of these things. If they did, you'd be having a bad day because you'd be about 180 degrees. Even at 180 degrees, it wouldn't really fall. So this one is books. This one I made like a cubby hole, and you can just jam stuff in there, which is pretty convenient. There's about 60 harmonicas in there, not 60, but quite a few, and like my little med kit, and then this is sort of technology stuff. I have these bins, but yeah, it's mostly just jammed up stuff, and some electronics and more harmonicas. And what else? So on this side, so under the seat is leak cloth here, which can tie into this handrail and into these grab rails, and that is great for single handing. But the thing that honestly that I use it for the most is that I use it as a storage space if I'm sailing single handing and I want to just get off in the morning without doing a ton of cleaning. I always have a guitar hanging around, so I'll put the leak cloth up, and then I can just dump the guitar behind it and whatever else I'm like dealing with, so I don't have to stuff a bunch of stuff into storage and properly stow it. So it just makes things a little easier. And then underneath there, Tritons used to have they have a draw, which I removed. I still have to paint the scar from the draw, but I filled that in, and I put in another compartment here. So this is all dried food. and it's just not cavernous, but there's a lot of space there. Works great. So, dates. Yeah, tons of stuff there. And there's another one. Oops. Right behind it, with more space here for food storage. So that works good. And oops. This is the lily cloth. It gets all kind of folded and stuff, but it's some sort of breathable fabric, and it's got big old eyelets or whatever you call those, and it's easy to tie up, and it works good. And that's that. Like I said, there is a sheet to go over this, a tube sheet, and it is really nice. So moving up here, we got stereo speakers that are installed but have yet to be hooked up because I've been lazy with that. But they're really nice speakers. And then there is a 12-volt fan, which hopefully will work. Here, I haven't used it in quite a while. And that is really wonderful on hot days, like in Maine, where you can get by without air conditioning, but you just want a little bit of breeze. You can open up this hatch, this port light, and get some fresh air. It's pretty great. You'll see there's a series of these 12-volt dual white and red lights, LEDs. They take like no energy as far as I can tell, and they are pretty awesome. This is a reading light too, so you can have both. And so this is kind of the, I don't know, single-handing hanging out area right here, and but doesn't have to be single-handed. Just that's where I would sit. So there's really, yeah, it's a long bunk though, so a couple people can hang out, and there's a guitar pick. Currently I have these sliding window shades. I'm actually, because I'm going to be sleeping on the boat during the day, going to make some magnetic window blockers for my new job. Christmas lights are hanging and going to the shore power, and that's it. These are actually Dyneema, kind of ridiculous, but the lines these run on are Dyneema, and they can so you can get them pretty nice and tight. I haven't tightened them in a while, but I got a med kit hanging back there. There's another light in the back, and then there is a storage bin bag thing back there that I jam a lot of stuff into too. I have a coat hook for hanging foul weather gear. There's not really a foul weather closet, but it's a small boat, so you can hang wet stuff there if you want, or sometimes I just jam it up in the front in the V-berth. It's a nice cedar paneling that was put in that I sanded and varnished, and there's a lot of these stainless steel grab rails, which are pretty great for getting around. And fire detector. All right, go to the galley. So now we're in the galley, and it's pretty cool. It's different than a lot of other boats. Let's see here. So first thing, so we got a dual burner propane stove, and it's great if you like to cook. It's I think it's just easier to use than an alcohol stove. You may know that propane is pretty flammable, and so you got to be careful with it. So I don't have a solenoid in the boat, which is what you're supposed to have, but that means you have a isolated propane locker, which is not really room for in the boat, and also just adds an element of complexity to something to fix, a solenoid, another electrical deal to work with. So I don't have that. What I have is a propane tank on deck, which is right out here. In another video you'll probably see that, and I can you can't really see, let's see here, but that's the propane tank, and I can grab the valve on the tank and turn it on, and that fills the stove with propane, and then I close that, and then let's see if I can do this one-handed. I don't think I can. Here, turn the knob. Oops. Okay, let's see here. And there we go. So, and in the sun. So they have thermocouplers, obviously, and then when I want to shut it off, I just go back here, open the thing, takes a second, turn it off, and then we'll let it burn out this propane line. So not perfect, but it works. It's been working great for I guess for 2 years I've had that like that. But like anything else with propane, you have to be really careful because it's explosive. I also have a handheld propane sniffer that I use occasionally just to check up on things, but I've never turned up any propane leaking. So, but yeah, it's pretty important to be careful with propane. So this 2-burner stove, the back burner, which I shut off, I have to just shut off the gas, is like a super hot burner, and the front burner is like a regular burner. So you can cook rice here, and I have an alarm going off somewhere. Let me shut this off for 1 second. Oh, it's in my pocket. So this stove is still burning itself out. But anyway, the back burner, you can you can cook really hot stuff if you were going to use like a big stew pot or something. The front burner I use for rice or tea or basically anything just because it's closer. Obviously it's not a gimbal stove, but I do have these, I forget what you call them, holders for pots, and it is possible, I think, to make a pot of hot water while the boat is sailing. The Tritons tend to heel pretty hard initially, and then they just hold that, so they don't really heel that crazily, but they always heel. So anyway, if you want to, I was going to add a 1-burner gimbal propane bottle stove, and I actually had one, but I never used it. So I'll show you what I use in a second. But it is possible, I think, to use this to boil water, which is basically what I want to do if I'm sailing by myself, to make like a freeze-dried meal. So that's the stove there. You got a splash guard, you got another speaker back here, you have your Coast Guard bell, you have a T-ball, you have another handrail, and some more cedar, and that's it. So, moving right along, oh yeah, there's also, if you want to, which I've very rarely had the need to, there is the Omnia stovetop oven. So that's that, and you can put that on the stove. You can make some brownies or some biscuits or bread. I've almost never used it, but apparently if you're into it, it's cool, and I probably should use it, but I haven't. Have a little frying pan that fits here, a big frying pan will fit, but anyway, that's just basic stuff. So moving on right along here in the back, we have storage for dishes. I keep tea and some staple stuff back here, and that is pretty handy. Chopping board, if you have the countertop full, so you notice there's a pretty large countertop. If it's full, you can put the chopping board there, which oftentimes it is because I get slobby and don't put everything away. So anyway, you can put the chopping board there, and then that's actually another work surface you can use. So that's that, but there's a lot of storage back there. Now, this is kind of interesting here. So I use a lot of freeze-dried mountain house meals when I'm sailing, single-handed. In the morning, I'll boil a pot of water, and then, or two actually, and this is one of those push pumps rather. It's empty now, but you can pour about two kettles worth of boiling water in there, and it'll stay good all day. It's dusty because I haven't been using it, but I just put it up for demonstration's sake. And then you get this nozzle, so you basically have hot and cold running water, more or less. But then you can just put your mountain house meal right there, and that's all of the cooking you need to do for at all. I mean, on a single handing day. So that works great, and we get this foot pump here, which is pretty non-problematic, and I have replaced all the hosing and stuff to that. At one point I was having skunky water, and I was using this water purifier, but I went in, it's a collapsible, inflatable water tank, and I went in and hand cleaned out the water tank, which took me a couple hours, and maybe not a couple hours, but a while. And the water's tasted great since, just tastes like water. So I don't actually use this water purifier, but it's there, and you can kind of jam all this stuff in there. And behind there's spices. I keep butter on top of there just because it works. Jam the knife in there. But actually this stuff is going to come out because I'm living on the boat and don't really need the, because if I need hot water, I'll just boil water. But you can jam all your utensils in there. In the back is for condiments, I guess, and vinegar and stuff like that, but there's plenty of storage. Up here, oh yeah, the cool thing about this boat is has opening port lights. I don't actually use this one very much. Sorry, another two-way light up here. Binder clips are everywhere because I use them a lot. Two-way light is awesome right there. Fire extinguisher is kind of away from the, well, I don't know, towards the egress, between the door and the kitchen. If there was a problem, you could grab that and use it. But and then yeah, so opening port lights back here. So this is the one I open the most just because it's convenient. But these are great for if you're cooking and you want to dump some stuff out that you don't want to put in the sink, or any reason you want to open the port light. Oops, it's kind of hard to do one-handed, but there we go. And then we are outside. So that is pretty great. Tritons, as a rule, do not have these. They were retrofitted. I don't know where they came from, but I think actually I got an email from the guy who put these in, and he was nice about telling me where he got them. But they are great. They need a good cleaning and a scrubbing, but otherwise, and all four open. And then there's just two forward ones that'll also open. So if you are on a hot day, you can get a ton of air circulation here. So moving right along, this is a sort of food bin that I made. Also needs to be painted, but there's two compartments here. It's a little different than the other side. This bunk, well, it's not really a bunk, it's really just a seat, is shorter, is narrower than the one on the other side. So it's a little bit more of a comfortable seat. You don't need the pillow, but you could put the pillow, but it's a little bit narrower. Anyway, so this one is wider in the back, so you got a lot of space here, and there's just a ton of space for food. If I was sailing a lot, I'd be a little more conscious about having stuff lower, just so it won't fall out, but honestly, nothing ever falls out, or one or two, you know, maybe this box would fall out if we healed a lot, but honestly, not really. Ton of room for food. If you were going on like a ocean voyage, you could certainly rig up something from there to there to keep stuff from falling, but for coastal sailing, this has been pretty good. I got like these 4 bins in there, work great. There's tons of room to put stuff in. Back here is a thing to put a box of wine, to rebox a box of wine, and I drank it all, but it was good, so that works great, and then it just goes right back there. So pretty simple systems here. Trying to keep everything working, you know, that works good. Moving backwards, there's another compartment back there. There's a bit of wiring that needs to be sorted, but otherwise, yeah, all this stuff is working. And I'm gonna stop this for a sec. All right, continuing along. So this is the electronic station, I guess you'd call it. Going from the top here, so we have the on-off button. So this shuts off all the sort of non-essential, what do you call, off and on circuits, but it leaves the 24-hour circuits going. This is actually the masthead light. This is the running light. Oh yeah, these are the deck lights. Depth sounder, steaming light on the mid-mast, and this is a deck light for the foredeck, and then these switches are currently not being used. And I have really a plethora of cigarette lighters installed just because they're real convenient, but this is the for USB. So this actually, I can't really show that because it's too cold, but these wire chargers can go up into the little nav station thing that I made for sitting here, which I'll show at some point. And so they are great for charging your phone while you're sailing if you're navigating with your phone. There's also built-in GPS on deck. This is Standard Horizon, I think it's the 2200, which is a great radio. I once was sort of in an emergency situation, and I was able to communicate with a boat that was 25 miles away from me with no real problem. This is the AIS here, and I don't know if you use the AIS, but works really well. I don't know if there's any boats close by, but yeah, it gives you that. And where's the list? So this is telling me all the boats that are nearby. We're just in Baltimore Harbor on a really cold day, so I don't think anybody's going to be moving. Here's the handheld mic. There's also a mic in the cockpit that is really the one I use, but this, if you were just chilling out on a cold day and you want to talk to somebody nearby, you can use that. This is the car stereo that is currently not hooked up just because I've been lazy. I did about 2,000 miles before I haven't hooked it up yet. A USB port. There's also a 1/8" jack. You can actually use Bluetooth to make telephone calls, but I gotta hook it up. Some wiring, like I said, that needs to be neatened up. Have yet to do it. In the back, you can see there is a Ryobi 12-volt battery charger that is great. You can plug that into the cigarette lighter and charge I think they're 18-volt batteries, and it's awesome. You know, the Ryobi tools actually work really well, and they're cheap if you drop one overboard, which I have, unfortunately. The batteries last a long time. I've had no problems with it, so it's kind of blocked in behind the ice box. But that's that. Back here, I did have a inverter that was hooked up, and this battery charger, which I've yet to hook up. I removed the inverter, where there's some holes back there. I never used it, and I thought that maybe I'd use it for a sander, but really I found that I never wanted to do any sanding while I was at anchor. And now actually Ryobi makes an 18-volt rechargeable sander, so I just didn't have any reason to keep it, and I sold that. But if you ever wanted to put an inverter in, I do have this. So all the wiring is new. I put it in. It's all pretty high quality stuff. I try to do like an ABYS style job on it. I still, like I said, have to fasten all the cables down, but I used pretty heavy duty stuff, and this is sort of ridiculous, these blocks, but for the power that I'm using. But that is actually the block I think I need for the inverter. So if you did want to put an inverter in, that block is appropriate for that. You need to get a circuit breaker also, yeah, so there's some pretty massive cabling here for an inverter if you need it. Moving right along here, we got coming back down. This is the hatch where I store some of the freeze-dried food. These are the Mountain House meals, and 2 AGM batteries. I believe they're 79 amp hours. It's a little dusty down here, but they're great. I never had any problems with them. There's a solar power system, and it's works good. There's no issues. I tend to try to be conservative with power, but it's not like I don't use anything. You can see like I said, they're cabled extremely heavily for the inverter, which I never used. So, but those cables are good. And you can, I think I had 60 Mountain House meals when I left, and came back with a fair amount of them. But you can really put a lot in there. There's another hatchback underneath all this stuff, but that I haven't been using. I just put this ice box in. It's a Coleman cooler. It works pretty well, but it's like 40 degrees colder than the ambient air. It doesn't have a thermostat on it, so currently when it's pretty cold, it can kind of get icy in there. So I haven't figured out how to use that effectively in the winter, but it is nice. I've been able to have some greens in the boat, which having fresh food without some refrigeration is tough. So that goes into the shore power system, which I'll talk about in a second. In the back here is more tool storage, and that's it. So moving to the back here, this is just kind of like general storage. I had these car bins I keep my clothes in. This is actually garbage. And there's 2 of them, so I'm trying to keep the clothes to a minimum. Those are my scrubs for work, and this ladder is the original ladder, I think, and it is a mess, so that needs to be replaced at some point, but I just haven't had a chance to do it. So that's kind of like the last structural job. It has seen better days by a long shot, but I have ideas for a better ladder. I just have never gotten a chance to do it. In the back, we got I have a magic pot, so I put in this this shore power system. You can see right there, you got 4 outlets and a 15 amp circuit breaker, and this has worked great. There's no issues with it. That's all Blue Sea. It's got a reverse polarity checker, whatever, and your 15 amp breaker. So that has made all the difference because you just can have all the comforts of home. I'm able to run the space heater on high, usually in a little bit extra power, and in the summertime it's just everything you need. Once the space heater is out of the picture, you can do whatever you want. I may have room for a little guitar amplifier, this magic pot, which I just got, and then recently just put in this power strip, so that gives me a little bit more freedom to move the space heater around, and that's that. And let's see what else. Let's see. Oh yeah, and then moving forward here, this is kind of like no man's land, but this is the old, I don't even know what they call this here, or what was in the original Tritons, but I made this bin. Sorry, some pots and pans. This is storage. Let's see here. So this opens up, and that's just become this big storage bin, and that was not leaking water, by the way. That's just I was washing dishes, so there's a little bit of dampness. There's a big storage bin down here that you can kind of just jam whatever in. You can see it's pretty tall, and it's kind of convenient just to deep six stuff in there, but there's a fair amount of air that gets circulated, so stuff doesn't get mildewed, and that has worked really well. That's the original Triton bin back there, which I have a little, that orange string can wrap in those holes and keep stuff in there. There's more space back there too. There's another of these 12-volt lights and speaker, which is not hooked up yet, and another little port light, and that's that. Coming to the head, so the head's kind of decommissioned for the winter. I've been using a bucket and bags, luggable loo, I think they call it. But so this is a music stand storage. There's the same old Triton locker back there. It is a Japsco head. It works fine. To be honest, I would prefer to use the bucket if I have to pump out. It just makes it easier to not have to deal with the pump out. And then if I'm out in the ocean, then I can use this. But I ultimately would probably replace it with a composting head just because it's easier to deal with, but I never got around to it, and don't really feel the need. So that's that. All right, can I show this down for a sec? The interior here, we have this is the V-berth, and it's kind of just storage right now. So, but there's 2 storage cubbies underneath there. There's a little hatch that doesn't really go anywhere. The depth sounder is there. Garbage pail you can put under here. You can fit your bucket if you're so inclined. You can put the heater under here too, but pretty handy, a little bit of storage space. This is handy just for sitting. So there's the V-berth that's got these 2 cushions, which are in good shape. And then there's just tons of junk up here. That's the anchor locker with like 400 feet of road, 90 feet of chain. I think it's 360 feet of road. There is, again, there's 2 lights up here. The 2-way, oh, I just shut the electric off. And then this light here. There's some wiring coming down from the mast. This has been stripped and repainted this year, or last year rather. And we got your Lumar hatch up here. 2 port lights, and yeah, comfortable space. But for single handing, or being single, I don't use it too much. There's another fire extinguisher up here. If you were somehow trapped, you could get out the hatch, but you'd have a fire extinguisher to go. This is the deck fill for the water, and A lot of guitar cases here. And that's about it for the interior. So everything works. Everything's been road tested and kind of proven itself for 2,000 miles and is good to go continually. There's a little condensation up here for the record, but generally there's not a ton of condensation in the boat, and most of it's in the V-berth. But it's easy to clean with the new paint, and that's about it.